Hi, I'm Alex Newman. I'm the foreign correspondent for the New American Magazine, and today I want to talk to you about something just outrageous, something that's incredible. So the UN says that it is against international law for the American people through their elected representatives to repeal Obamacare. And this is true. In 2017, they sent a letter to the Trump administration telling him that repealing Obamacare would be a violation of international law and that whoever did it needed to be held accountable and held responsible. So I want to read to you guys the title of the bureaucrat who said this. It's the UN Special Rapporteur on the right of everyone to the enjoyment of the highest possible attainable standard of physical and mental health. And his name is Dionysius Pouras. He is a quote-unquote psychiatrist from the Baltic states. And so he says that we cannot repeal Obamacare. So basically, in the view of the United Nations, big government is now a human right, and we have no right to repeal big government. Once it's established, it cannot go back. So this bureaucrat, despite his fancy title, he works for the UN Human Rights Council, which is, we've talked about this here before in these videos for the New American. It is an absolute joke. It's run by a prince from an Islamic dictatorship, Zaid Rashad al-Hussein, and this is the guy who says that international law requires, in his words, a robust gun control to be imposed on the American people. So according to this bureaucrat, the special rapporteur on the human right of everyone to the highest possible attainment of mental and physical health, there are multiple international quote-unquote laws that purport to require Obamacare in the United States. So one of the ones he pointed to has not even been ratified by the U.S. Senate. So he is pointing to a treaty that the United States is not even has not even ratified and accepted as part of the source for this international law that supposedly requires Obamacare. That treaty is known as the International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. And again, the U.S. has not ratified this. And the bureaucrat says that even though we haven't ratified it, we still can't do anything that goes against it because he said so and there's some Vienna Convention. So nowadays, the Dictators Club, the United Nations, can make international law without the American people even approving of this, believe it or not. And he is dead serious when he says these things. He also pointed to the UN Declaration, Universal Declaration on Human Rights, which basically is the opposite of the rights that the founders of the United States enshrined in the Constitution and talked about in the Declaration of Independence. Right? In our Declaration of Independence, it says that it's a self-evident truth that we're all created equal and that our Creator has given us certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And of course, private property ownership is also there. Now, in the UN's view, there is no Creator, right? The source of rights is the UN and governments and international treaties. And if you go straight to this document, the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights, go down to Article 29 and read it for yourself. What it says is you have no rights. You basically have privileges. You can never use any of your rights in violation of the purposes and principles of the United Nations. So, for some perspective, just imagine if the First Amendment to the Constitution said, Congress shall make no law infringing on the freedom of speech unless Congress doesn't like that speech, it annoys Congress, or for whatever other reason Congress doesn't want those things to be said. So that is what Article 29 does. And this bureaucrat says that international law, he says the UN Universal Declaration of Human Rights has become customary international law, and so the American people are bound by this, and now we must submit to Obamacare forever until at least we move to a full-blown national health care system that is, of course, being sought by the United Nations. This is absolute garbage. Our members of Congress and the Trump administration should take this as encouragement that they're doing the right thing in the effort to repeal Obamacare. So far, as of the time that this video is being made, Obamacare has not yet been repealed. They passed a statute that modifies and tweaks a few things out of the House of Representatives, but so far Obamacare is still firmly in place. But this letter, this pathetic letter from this UN bureaucrat, we should look at this and say, wow. absolutely means we need to get out of the UN. It means we need to get rid of Obamacare. You know, if the Dictators Club wants something, you can almost be sure that it's bad, bad news, and that includes Obamacare. So time to get rid of Obamacare, time to get us out of the United Nations, time to abolish all this pseudo-international law that's being used to attack our actual rights under, enshrined in our Constitution and that are supposed to be protected by our government. The UN is a threat to our freedom. It's a threat to our national sovereignty. As this Dianus Puras has made clear, it's even a threat to our own ability to govern ourselves, right? We don't even have to ratify these treaties, and they're going to dictate to us what laws we must live under. This is absolutely outrageous. The American people should not tolerate this for one more minute. We should not subsidize this with our tax dollars for one more minute. It's time to get out of the UN, and it's time to tear up this letter on national TV while we repeal Obamacare. Thanks for watching. Check out the articles below and continue to follow us here at thenewamerican.com.